Hey guys, what's up? How y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of One Piece, which is on episode 975. Now, this episode right here was nicely done, Toei. Once again, you've done a fantastic job. I really like the fact that you added some nice filler scenes for One Piece, and a lot of people had a lot of problem with that. But for me, there are some things when it comes to One Piece that had some filler scenes that actually makes better closure and understanding of what happened compared to the manga. So if anything else, let's just get this started. We have to it that after the opening, which I always enjoy listening to, we have to it that Orochi gets dissed on, and many people, Wano says Oden is the true shogun here. Enraged, Orochi ends up shooting one person who said that and says out loud, "Destroy the Kozuki clan and destroy all the Kuri now." And we have to it that Toki reads a letter from Oden, and she remembers how she read this and how Oden tells Toki, I am literally at my limit. I can't handle this no more. If I fail to bring down Kaido, there will be no one else who could do so. And we have to it that he tells Toki to use her power in 20 years to come, as that will be the right and exact time of what can really happen here and there. And when Toki herself, remembers that Oden's letter, she ends up ripping it up and throws it into the air and tells Oden posthumously, or after his death, knowing that he died, says to Oden, we will not be your weakness and we will not cry, okay? Just watch in 20 years. You will see what shall happen. And we have to it that, that the Red Nine Samurai are trying to go to Kuri and to do what they can, Unfortunately, they are attacked by Orochi's men and Kaido's men. Some of them had to stay behind while Nekomamushi and Inugarashi end up fighting amongst themselves. And this is where it makes a lot of sense, because sometimes back then, when it came to to their arguments and the verbally physical fights, you will understand when they were first introduced or something, they were really cool, but when they meet each other, they really hate each other. Even though it added a little more understanding of why they actually hate each other, or there was a misunderstanding at all, they end up arguing and they end up being attacked by one of Kaido's giant numbers, which is something that that I'm sorry to give a minor spoiler on, but that aside, all I know is the Red Samurai end up separating from each other, such as Inugarashi and Nekomamushi gets attacked by a silhouette giant, and then as for Shuntomaru, Ashura, and Denjiro, they will end up staying behind to occupy Kaido's men that's chasing them down, while Shinobu, Kinemon, and the others are doing the best they can to try to reach Kuri, While Kuri is burning, so is the castle. We have to it that Toki, along with her two children, are stuck in there by the fire. And we see to it, of course, that Hiyori remembers her father, how she cried and enjoyed her time with her father, and that now he's gone, Not to mention Kaido. He ends up showing up where Toki and her two children are, and Toki tries to defend them, but Kaido easily just swats her aside. He just get the hell out of my way, B. And then we have to it that he grabs Momonosuke and asks him, what the hell is your name? And Momonosuke ends up not saying anything, and then he cries for his father, and that it looks like he's up so high up, and Kaido really, really disappointed says to Momonosuke, your father was a stupid lord. Keep that in mind. But Momonosuke says, my father was the greatest, and I shall be the one to govern this country. And Kaido says, yeah, for someone who likes to talk big, that's not going to happen. So what the hell is your name? And we have to, and Momonosuke doesn't say and screams out his father to help him. And Kaido just throws him back inside the castle and says, man, this is so disappointing. Because, Kaido still remembers that time. He was almost killed by Oden. Let's not forget that. Oden was the only man of all of One Piece in the series to give him his only scar. Let's not forget. That alone is enough to get Kaido to actually consider Odin a good guy, but he calls him a foolish lord. Let's not forget, because Odin is somewhat foolish, but he wasn't all out, But we have to it that he even tells Momonosuke, burn in hell with that castle. You hear me? And we have to it that Kinemon, along with Raizo, Kanjuro, Kawamatsu shows up, and we have to it that Toki will use her powers on Kinemon, Momonosuke, Kanjuro, and Raizo to go into the future in 20 years, And we have to it that Hiyori is taken care of by Kawamatsu, and we have to it she decides to stay behind and meet her demise. Then we see to it that she ends up having to ride and escape while she gets shot down by arrows. A couple of them hit her and a couple bullets, but Shinobu stops them in the nick of time for her to do her job to escape. But unfortunately, knowing Toki would meet her demise, she ends up making a speech about 9 red shadows, or the 9 red samurai, and the full moon shall come about and take over and shall take down the evil lord. But after she finishes her speech, she gets shot down by an arrow during her mid-speech, and later on, after getting shot by a bullet, she falls over and dies. And that became very brutal, Now, when it came, and the episode ends up with Toki's death, while everybody who sees Toki making that speech ends up mourning her and grieving her, knowing that they lost Odin as well, which is really devastating. Toei, I gotta give you props, man. You did a fantastic job once again. Now, I know for the fact sometimes Toei has its issues with One Piece where the pacing becomes a little horrible or a little too much when it comes to the filler scenes. But when it came to the filler scenes in this episode, they did a fantastic job once again. I gotta give you props, Toei, for adding in some scenes that makes a little bit more sense compared to the manga. Because when it came to the manga of Toki's death, it wasn't shown explicitly how she died, but in the anime it added more closure how she died, she got shot by 2 arrows on the back, and then she got shot by another arrow and then got killed by a gunshot wound eventually, and that alone gives a lot of closure to her death, and after she makes that speech, etc. And it was kind of nice and slick to see how Kuri's demise came to be, and etc., along with the other people who now are suffering, Again, Toei did a nice job on adding some great brutality of what happened to Kuri, especially Toki's death. That was a little kind of too much, but they did a good, fantastic job, which I like to say. Toei, once again, good job, man. I can't wait to see next episode, and it's going to be insanely crazy good. So, until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot.